Special intensive revision of Karnataka has started.
ಈಗ ಒಂದು ಮತದಾರ ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಹೋದ್ಮೇಲೆ ನಾವು ಯಾಕೆ ಗ್ಯಾರಂಟಿ ಹಣವನ್ನು ಕೊಡಬೇಕು? ಎಲ್ಲೋ ವೋಟ್ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಎಲ್ಲೋ ಗ್ಯಾರಂಟಿ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ವೋಟ್ ಮತದಾರ ಇತ್ತು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಕೊಡೋಣ. ಯಾವುದೋ ಊರಿಂದ ಬಂದು ಅಲ್ಲೂ ತಗೊಂಡು ಇಲ್ಲೂ ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಅವಕಾಶ ಕೊಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ.
The special intensive revision of electoral rolls began in Karnataka on June 30th, with the Election Commission launching a door-to-door enumeration phase of all 5.54 crore registered voters. The exercise will continue until July 29th and is being described as a routine revision of the electoral rolls. However, similar exercise in states like Bihar, West Bengal, Tamil Nadu and Assam have triggered political and legal controversies over the deletion and addition of lakhs of names. In Karnataka too, Chief Minister D.K. Shivakumar has urged people to cooperate with the process, warning that those who fail to complete the verification could lose their voting rights and may also face difficulties in accessing government welfare benefits. So what can Karnataka expect from the SIR exercise? Are the concerns over voter exclusion justified? And has the political opposition done enough to address them? To discuss these questions, we are joined by activist and journalist Shivasundar. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us today. You have been a vocal critic regarding the SIR since the beginning, and you've spoken a lot about it. Now that it has started in Karnataka, do you expect it to be any different from the other states? Because we see that SIR has been happening differently in different states, and there are new documents required, or there are new logical discrepancy aspects that were not followed in other states. And every time SIR happens in each state, we get to know something more about it, which we did not know earlier. So what are your expectations in terms of Karnataka's SIR?
See, the whole SIR is designed to create problems to the people of the country. In fact, they want to exclude as many marginalized and oppressed people as possible. And after every SIR, they are actually improvising the whole SIR in such a way that it will create more difficulty. For example, when it happened in the first phase in Bihar, there was no concept of logical discrepancy. Yeah. In the second phase, there were 12 states. Only in West Bengal, they applied logical discrepancy. That is actually, that violates equality before law. Under the same law and same rules, you are applying SIR only to the one state and you are not doing to the other states. You are discriminating West Bengal. Now, that happened long before the Supreme Court judgment came in. That was on May 27th. And Supreme Court has empowered this structured arbitrariness of the Election Commission. Now on the May 14th notification for the third phase, in the 16 states, they have made it part of their notification to introduce logical discrepancy. And how many logical discrepancies? In fact, in West Bengal, it was only 4. In fact, Haryana, the electoral officer is on record saying that there will be more than 7. In Telangana, it is 11. And day before yesterday, Mr. Kumar, the CEO of Karnataka, says that there will be many. Yeah. And he has cited some 5 to 6, and he said that there will be more once the enumeration forms are actually collected. Yeah. So every logical discrepancy disable the citizens of this country to prove their citizenship. Because they are such absurd, irrational, and unreasonable kind of requirement from the people of the country, they cannot provide so. And in the last 2 days, in fact, it's the second day of the SIR in Karnataka, there are already reports. It is so confusing to the people that they don't know what to feel, how to find their actually the 2002 voter list. Yeah. Who will know that? Because India is such a country, people actually travel from a place to place in search of livelihood, and you are actually imagining a country which is full of correspondence with the office and the government, where our people do not do that, because they are the only relief that they ask from the government is to let them leave. They don't even ask the welfare reliefs actually. So in such a case, seeing the last 2 days experience, it is going to be very, very difficult in Karnataka. Even filling the forms will be difficult because there are three parts in the form. Yeah. People don't know what part to be filled. In one part, they have to fill the 2002 details, whether the 2002 details is of the progeny or the themselves. A lot of confusing, and BLA themselves are confused. BLOs are their situation is more pathetic because most of them hail from primary school teachers or Anganwadi teachers. Hardly they are very well versed with this mobile apps and other things. App was given in the last stage of their journey to the people. I mean, homes actually they are not well versed. Hardly they are given 1 GB data to upload, etc. So it is both difficult. Agni Pariksha. It's a kind of Agni Pariksha to people of Karnataka and BLOs also, and the outcome will be very, very difficult. In fact, except Kerala, in the 13 states where SIR has been completed, minimum of 10 to 19% of the earlier electorate have been deleted. They are excluded. So they are all Indian citizens. Just because they cannot provide the specified documents, they have been excluded. I think even after the SIR, there has to be a big movement to scrap this SIR. That's what I feel. But now people are trying to actually help out the people to fill the
Yeah.
application. That's what we have to do in this phase because whoever is possible to actually rescue themselves, they have to be helped. But in spite of that, it is impossible for at least 15% of the people to escape.
The Also, how much do you believe in Chief Minister D.K. Shivakumar's statement that on the first day he said that if you losing vote will also lead to losing benefits, especially at a time when we see that in West Bengal it's being announced that if your name is not on voter list, you might not get
Yeah,
benefits by the union and state government. So it is again becoming a question of citizenship in that sense if we are
exactly.
not able to avail the benefits of the government based on the electoral rules. How do you view this?
A chief minister holding a constitutional office should not make this statement because it is against even the Supreme Court's judgment. In fact, West Bengal and in Bihar already the BJP governments are implementing it, which itself is against the Supreme Court judgment. And the disappointing part of the whole thing is that when certain organization went to the Supreme Court asking how it is against the Supreme Court judgment, Supreme Court did not even heed to their request and asked them to go to the High Court. And the local high court say that how can you actually blame? You are not actually directly victim of this whole process. How can you do that? And they have actually postponed the next hearing for the next 2 months. Why? Because the Supreme Court says in its May 27 judgment that whoever the Election Commission of India suspects to be foreign nationals, they have to make a separate list of them and send it within 4 weeks to the competent authority in the central government, that is in the Home Ministry. And the Home Ministry will have to make a decision about their citizenship before the next election, whether it is of Lok Sabha or the state assembly elections or the local body elections.
Right.
Which means that you are not deprived of citizenship, you are only deprived of your voting right.
Yeah.
When you are not deprived of the citizenship as a citizen of this country, whatever I have as a constitutional right should not be deprived. For example, if you are giving 5 kg rice, it is part of the Food Security Act. It is part of the Article 21 of the Constitution, which protects my right to livelihood. So it is my constitutional right as far as my citizenship is not deprived. So the deprivation of this kind of welfare benefits is wrong. And Chief Minister saying that, Karnataka Chief Minister, unlike the BJP Chief Minister, he should give assurance. In fact, if that is the case, he should go to the court and say that depriving them of the benefits, even if there is an order by the central government, the Karnataka Congress government and the Congress party should fight it out. They should not intimidate the people about it. I
Right.
think
And
DK
he
Shivakumar
meant
is
it as
totally
a
wrong.
warning, at least in that aspect, he was giving a warning. So even
That's what
that was not required, but reassurance should have been given, is
see,
what you
he is
said.
holding a constitutional office.
Yeah.
As a chief minister, he should give assurance. He is not now KPCC president. So he is holding a constitutional office. He is actually responsible and accountable to the constitution, which assures the people of the country and the state for the constitutional benefits, unless they are deprived of the citizenship.
Right.
And as a Congress party leader, he should oppose any kind of such measures which will deprive them of the welfare benefits.
Right.
In fact, Congress party, if it is abiding by the constitution, even in the constitution, there are three words used in separate sense. In some places, it is used people of India. In some places, it is used person. And in some places, it is citizen.
Yeah.
And in Article 21, the word used is person, not citizen. So even if I am deprived of the citizenship, as a person living in this country, I will be I have the entitlement to this kind of benefits. So I think as a Congress party, they are unable to understand the gravity of the situation, the threat the Indian constitution and the country as such is facing. That is the problem with the Congress party.
Also, the Congress party has been vocal about SIR and has been against it, and there are 12 objections that the Congress has also asked. And in one of your articles, you say that civic society should not let Congress be a part of the anti-SIR uh, conversations that the civic society is standing for. Why do you say that? One, and two, what do you think about the objections made by the Congress? Because even Priyank Kharge has been now questioning ECI to answer them and has been objecting. So, how do you overall see the opposition party's role in this? And why do you say that they should not be a part of this conversation?
If Congress party is honest and want to protest against that, they have every right to do that. Who am I to say or to? They should not protest. They should do that independently. But we in the civil society and we as part of the people's movement should have correct understanding of the intentions and also the understanding of the different political parties. For example, where does this SIR stem from? It stems from the Citizenship Amendment Act, which was made in 2002 by the BJP government. That is the rationale given by the Election Commission to the Supreme Court of India. So that means that only how the citizenship is redefined. The Constitution and the earlier 1955 Act of Indian Citizenship Act says that whoever take birth in this country are citizens of this country. It was first amended in 1987 by Rajiv Gandhi and further amended by the Vajpayee government, which required SIR. That means it is not sufficient that if you take birth in this country, your parents should be proved. Till today, when an election commission BLO comes to the houses, he would ask, because the Article 324 says every citizen of this country of attaining the age of 18 years are qualified as voters. So it is bounden duty of the election officials to ask you whether you are citizen of this country. When I say that I am citizen of this country, that is the self-declaration. Self-declaration was suffice. If somebody objects that I am not a citizen of this country, then only there could be a procedure to prove that. Even then, the onus of responsibility of proving that I am not a Indian national will be on the side of the prosecution. Right. So that was the original procedure. That was amended in 2002. Who were in the rule between 2004 to 2014? It was UPA government. Why did they not amend it? And CAA is religion-based amendment made to the Act. But the previous to that, in 2009, Visa Act itself was amended based on the religion, which said that the Muslims who come from Bangladesh, Afghanistan, and Pakistan and stay here for more than the visa period, they will be fined by 5,000 rupees, and non-Muslim will be fined only 500 rupees. So religion-based fee structure was introduced during UPA government itself. And the last thing, what is this whole process all about? You are creating a voter list based on people who will vote for you. So they are actually redesigning the whole electoral mechanism. Right. So this is a kind of extraordinary situation. Extraordinary situation demands extraordinary solutions and extraordinary responses. Day in and day out, Rahul Gandhi says that the whole thing is fudged. Yeah. The whole voter list has been, there is duplicate voter list, lakhs together. Yeah. Then why are you contesting in the election? You are legitimizing this whole undemocratic process by participating in it. When you are defeated, you would say, but it is whole thing is fudged. Whole thing is actually fraud. Then come out of the system, tell the people that it is fraud. Let us, at least you should say, the opposition parties should say in one voice that till the SIR based elections are actually going to take place, we will not participate. I am not asking them to boycott elections. SIR is a fraud. SIR is designed to see that the opposition parties are defeated. SIR is designed in such a way that people who vote for non-BJP parties are actually excluded. Then the game is fixed. If you give the analogy of cricket, umpire belongs to BJP. The pitch is actually so designed only the batsman of the BJP can play. Then why are you actually participating in the game and legitimizing this fraud? So, in fact, during Bihar election, it went to that level. In fact, it was Rahul Gandhi himself. Congress party took up that issue. But immediately 2 months, Rahul Gandhi gayab ho gaya. And then after the elections, none of the opposition parties, they should have continued this. In Bihar, it so happened, Aadhaar card was not accepted. Most of the deletion, out of the 65 lakh deletions, 35% are Muslims.
Yeah.
So you should have actually rejected the result. They accepted the result, and most of the people are actually deserting the India. And
Yeah.
so opposition parties' objection to this extraordinary problem that the Republic is facing is very ephemeral and very, very token. Questions are very nice, fantastic. Why don't you go to the High Court? Why don't you go to High Court and just ask why this logical discrimination? Sorry, logical discrepancy. What is the basis on which our Karnataka people should undergo logical discrepancy? That too so arbitrarily. There it was only 4, now you have 11 or 12.
Yeah.
One of the new thing is this: if a woman in 2002 in the voter list says that the immediate relative is his father, and in the 2025 list, if she is married, she would naturally say her husband, she would be given notice. That means all the married women will get the notice today. You could at least ask, don't oppose SIR, go to High Court, mobilize the people, that is the whole thing process is fraud. You would on the other one hand say that we are not opposed to SIR. We want every elector, every voter to be part of the, every eligible voter should not be deleted. SIR process by design is designed to exclude the eligible voter. And if the logical discrepancy is remaining, but just sensitizing the people about the whole SIR process and helping them out in filling up the application, that's good. They should do that. But that will not actually rescue
Solve
at least
the
15% of the
problem.
Yeah. Essential problem is of those marginalized and oppressed people who do not have even a single document. And recently, D.K. Shivakumar government has come out with this permanent residence certificate.
Yeah.
You were
Is
asking
that
that
going
question.
to be,
You
I
asked
was about to ask that itself, that is it going to be helpful giving these certificates?
Yeah. See, first, take the 11 documents. Out of the 11 documents, there are only 3 documents which the state government can help out the people. One is the family tree that is accepted by that should be accepted by the Election Commission. And one of the question raised by the Priyanka Karge is that why are you not accepting the family tree provided by the government of Karnataka? That means that they are not accepting it. Second thing is caste certificate. Caste certificate is such a mess that unless I bring the lineage of my father, my caste will not be proved. There are lakhs and lakhs of applications which are actually stuck up. Third thing is permanent residence certificate. Earlier, they thought it is only residence certificate. So they actually empowered the PDO to give the residence certificate. It so happens that if I have their logic, BJP logic is that anybody can come to India and have a rented house and give the rent agreement and can get the certificate. That's why this particular aspect was permanent residence certificate. That is the domicile certificate. It so happened in West Bengal, by 2025 July itself, Mamata Banerjee started actually simplifying the procedure of permanent residence certificate and issuing it. Suvendu Adhikari, who is now the chief minister and then the BJP opposition leader, he went on campaigning that those permanent residence certificate which were issued after the 2025 July should not be accepted. Election Commission, being the extended organ of the BJP, they truthfully accepted this objection and said that they will not accept domicile certificate at all. Then Mamata Banerjee had to come onto the streets, fight, and go to the Supreme Court. Finally, on February 8th, they accepted the permanent residence certificate with 4 conditions. Only those permanent residence certificate which were issued according to November 2nd, 1999 order, which makes it so stringent and impossible for the people, ordinary people, to procure it. And only competent authority should have issued it. And only proper process should have been passed through. So when these conditions will also apply to Karnataka. And in Karnataka, the order says that a officer, there are some 11 or 12 conditions. First is 10 years residence or 10 years study in Karnataka, etc., or property in Karnataka. And to prove that, they have said that your Aadhaar card, your voter list is enough. Whether that is enough, whether the permanent residence certificate based on that shall be accepted by the Election Commission, there is one problem. Other problem, even oral evidence should be accepted. I think this is most democratic. I am actually for the democratization of this process. But election commission would raise all the objections
It's going
because
to
you have
go in
simplified in the
the
last.
loop where one document will be given, but the other is not going to be accepted. So at the end, it's the citizens who
Exactly.
will keep roaming from one office to another to
That
get
is
the.
one part. That is one part. It is even out of this 12 simplified condition, it is very, very difficult for the people to obtain a permanent residence certificate. What I am trying to say is election commission will not accept it because you have simplified the process only to enable the people, only
Yeah.
illegitimate citizens to avail this thing. So they will reject it. So you should go to court. You should actually mobilize people, lakhs of people on the streets, bring pressure on the ECI. See, this is extraordinary situation. So just writing letters, consultation, they are not obligated. Article 324 and Article Section 13cc of the Electoral Register Rules of 1960 says that preparing the voter list for the assembly election, Lok Sabha elections is the prerogative of the election commission. And during the whole process of this preparation, preparing the electoral list and the election, the whole state officials will be subordinates of the Central Election Commission and governed by the discipline of the Election Commission. So at the best, what you can do is you can suggest them, you can have a consultation. It is only State Election Commission which holds election for the local bodies.
Yeah.
The government has some power to intervene. But after the May 27 judgment in the Supreme Court, it has said that even for preparing the voter list for the local body elections, they should pass through SIR test. The power of SI, State Election Commission, is completely withdrawn by the Supreme Court order. So when that is the state of affairs, and when state government has no role to play in this whole process, this is an extraordinary issue and is a question of federalism. You should come out on the big street. So see, they don't want to do it because they think in spite of all this, we can come to power. It is finally power hungry parties. We cannot expect so much from the Congress.
Yeah.
That's why let Congress do whatever they can. You go on impressing on the Congress, but don't depend on the Congress. Don't actually persuade the Congress, think that through that something can be achieved because the very acts and the constitution does not provide for that. So the only thing is we should build strong people's movement independent of that. Independent of Congress does not mean that Congress should not come to the streets.
They also have
People
a
should be in
voice,
the,
but
they
the
let them
people's
do it.
movement will be.
They should, yeah. But people should movement should have a clear understanding of the limits of the Congress party and limits of the state government in this whole process.
Also, now that SIR has begun, and since we have seen that in all the states, there are so many voters that are deleted, lakhs of voters are being deleted. How can one protect their vote, especially in Karnataka, in Bangalore, where people are from so many different regions of the country? And like you said, the marginalized community where there might not be any documents with them, even the basic ones for that matter. So how does one protect their vote?
I don't have answer to this. It is very, very difficult because already in 13 states, 6.5 crore people have been excluded. In spite of such a big protest in West Bengal by both the government and also the people.
Yes.
People were in big numbers in the streets. They could not protect. So many adjudication, 32 lakh people are still under adjudication. And today, and who? The people like Mr. Rajgopal, who was actually editor of the Telegraph newspaper, he was actually, his name is excluded. And he was telling me today that if the same process continues, his friend says that the adjudication process to complete, it will take another 25 years.
Yeah, the numbers are in
32
lakhs.
lakhs.
There is lack of human power, and we know how things happen.
Exactly.
So it takes
And
a lot
what
of
does the
time.
Supreme Court? And what does the Supreme Court say? We should protect the protector of the Indian Constitution. No problem. You vote in the next election. This is the approach of the Supreme Court, spineless Supreme Court. In fact, yesterday in America, when even Trump wanted the similar kind of SIR there, and he wanted to actually take off this birth citizenship right, Supreme Court actually stood beside the Constitution and said that no, it cannot be removed. Whereas in India, the Supreme Court is completely hand in glove with the ideology and the agendas of the ruling party. That is the problem. So I think only streets can save us. We have to fill the streets and lakhs and lakhs. And in fact, for your question, 15 to 20% of the people of Karnataka are likely to be excluded. And most of them happen to be from the marginalized and the oppressed sections. And there is a lot of confusion, and there are four categories. Earlier there were four categories: absent, shifted, dead, and duplicate. Yeah. Karnataka will have another category called others. Others will be suspected foreign nationals or who are unmapped. They will be put under other category. The only way out is that even after the SIR, you have to fill form number 6 and include yourself as a new voter by providing one of the 12 documents. Again, if you don't have a document, you cannot do that. So even after October 7th, there should be a large people's movement, because around 15 crore people in a whole country will be actually thrown out. It is a nation. It's a nation. The whole population of the
many
Europe.
People, yes.
Yeah. 15 crore people should be mobilized and see to it that they are actually included and SIR is scrapped. It's a long way ahead. The battle is not over.
That's the last question before we end. That what is the next move? We have clearly said that SIR is going to happen and the protest cannot be. We have to help in filling out the forms. There is no stopping there. But what happens next? Like we saw that in Bihar when SIR happened, when we heard about the deaths of BLOs, and still it continued to happen in other states, and yet people are still not as aware as about SIR in many other states. A lot of surveys have showed that as well. So what is the next course of your action and the people's movement that you're part of?
See, now we have been campaigning. I myself have attended at least 150 awareness meetings, and people didn't know in the beginning. Slowly they started to realize. Now, since yesterday, there is a surge of awareness. People all of a sudden, oh, what is this? What is this SIR? What is this form? I am getting so many phone calls. There may be hundreds of people getting hundreds of phone calls today. So now they are exposed to this situation. By August 5th, when the first draft list is announced, people will come to know that their name is not there, either in ASDD category or in the others category. When they get notice, even if your name is announced, then you will get notice for the 12 logical discrepancies. Then people would come to know that this is a problem. So now that awareness and the anxiety will come together. That may lead to agitation. Finally, between August 5th to September 5, you will have that claims and objection phase. They will go and give the documents, and finally it is rejected. On October 7th, finally, you will have your final list. And if names are not there, that is the real problem. And that intimidation, that warning is not warning, it is intimidation, because people will be in the queue for the ration card and they will be asked to go back. This will create a situation where there actually the need of building a people's movement will arise. According to me, the anti-SIR movement will get strength and momentum after October 7th. After August 5th, there will be a situation. Their ears will be opened. They can see that it is not exaggeration. Earlier, people used to think that you are anti-BJP, you are exaggerating. That's how people thought in the beginning. Now it comes to their own life experience. The wisdom will actually unleash. I think this movement against SIR should go on for another 1 or 2 years. So now it is only the people who are aware. It will be some 0.1% of the Karnataka population. But by October 7th, the whole Karnataka population would be aware of that, and 10 to 15% of the people would have been definitely excluded. Then that creates a situation where
everybody starts checking their names and not finding the names will lead to chaos in the country as well as it's happening in the states.
We should not lead it to create chaos or anarchy, but build a movement to change it, correct it, scrap SIR, and build a inclusive citizenship rules. We need citizenship card. It is not that we don't want citizenship, but given the Indian situation, go and give the card. How did Sukomal Sen, who was the first election commissioner, how did he actually prepare the voter list? In fact, he was assigned the job in 1950. For the full 1.5 years, he traveled through the streets of the country and went to each and every home and provided the voter card. In the same way, you provide the citizenship card to the people. So I think that is the solution. We should drive at that.
change the whole way of how citizenship is being given rather than citizens going and showing that we are
Yeah,
citizens
yeah.
of the country.
You reminded me of the Brecht's poem, no? That is often quoted. During fascist Hitler, it was said that Hitler was not happy with the people of his country. Then he said that people should actually persuade him. Then Brecht said, he should come, why people should persuade him? Let us dissolve the people. Instead, people dissolving the government, let us dissolve the people and elect a new people. Modi is doing the same thing. When people are not voting to him, he is dissolving the people. He is electing the people. People electing the government is one thing. He is electing the people too.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir, for your wisdom and for sharing us about how the SIR, how you perceive SIR to happen in Karnataka. Thank you.
Thank you very much.